Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of 100 Yards of Football Sports Talk Radio. I'm your host and producer this afternoon, Logan Landers, and joining me, as always, to break down a very special 2024 NFL Draft prospect, Christian Mahogany, the offensive guard coming out of Boston College. As always, Mr. Football, Vincent. How you doing, Vincent?
Hey, how you doing today, Mr. Logan Landers?
I am doing tremendous, sir. Excited to talk about this top tier prospect who is soon to have his dream realized of being drafted in the National Football League here in just a little bit over a month. It's fun times. And as always, guys, we have tons and tons and tons of NFL draft prospect videos already in the can and more coming up as the draft fastly approaches. Of course, the best way to view all of those that we've done and that we are continuing to do is going to be Facebook and YouTube. If you want the video portions of that, if you want the audio, well, you're in luck as well because we do have a podcast available each and every single week, audio versions of all of our shows on all major podcast streaming platforms. But let's get right into it. I'm excited to talk about Christian Mahogany coming out of Boston College. When you look at this big guy, Vincent, comes in around 6'2 and a half, 6'3 on a good day, 318. And my goodness, when you look at this guy, you think of determination, you think of grit, you think of the way he's had to battle adversity. And I say that because in 2022, the young man unfortunately had an ACL tear, caused him to miss the entire season. But he came back, Vincent. He came back this past year at Boston College, and he really shined. He was able to get through just countless days of rehab, get stronger, and get better. And he did a great job. First team All ACC out there with the Eagles, and rightfully so. He did a tremendous job right there in Boston College. When I look at Mahogany, what I like about him, some of his strengths, right? He's a large human. Obviously, you can see him. He's dense. He's got some wide shoulders to him. But I like too, Vince. He's got that short speed that you need in an offensive lineman, that short burst, that short pop that you need to get to that defensive player to stop him dead in his tracks. He's got the good footwork that you need. He's got quickness to him as well. He's not just going to be lumbering around like a lot of guys are. He's going to be doing it with speed and tenacity. That's what I like about Christian Mahogany. So more about him, just his power. I mean, look, he's 318, obviously. He can bench press a lot. He can squat a lot. And you can see in his arms and those tree trunk-like legs, he can get it done at the point of attack. He has got power with some of the best guys you're going to see in this draft on the O-line. He's able to churn his legs. When I say that, I mean he's able to dig his cleats deep into that dirt, deep into that grass or astroturf, and he is able to just push guys back and keep them away from the quarterback, from the running back, whoever it may be for run game. He's able to push guys out of the way and just give holes for his running back, and he's doing a good job as a blocker up front. Some more things I like about this guy. I mean, he's got a lot of tools in his tool bag, and he's able to really be a good anchor down low. When I say that, he's able to get low, he's able to get a base established, get that low center of gravity like you like to see from offensive linemen, and really do some work, not just with his hands, not just with his legs, but a good combination of both, like you like to see in all of your good quality offensive tackles, offensive guards in the National Football League. And he's consistent too. He is consistent when it comes to, it don't matter who he's up against. He is going to always, it seems like, be on top or be right there, or he's rarely going to give up sacks, Vincent. He's rarely going to let guys get by him. That's just due to this guy's large frame and power that he possesses. And I always like to say, I like to see a little bit of a mean streak from these guys on the offensive line. I like to see them, maybe throw them to the ground a little bit, maybe get a little dirty. I'm not saying nothing crazy, but I like a guy who's got that mean streak in him. And that is what Christian Mahogany represents. He is a talented individual, but he's got that mean streak to him, that will to do better, that will to thrive and just be better than the man he's up against. And I think that as long as he can stay on the field, I'm glad that he had a tremendous 2023. Many blessings and luck for him in his NFL career that he can stay healthy as long as he can. But, I mean, Vincent, I'm not hearing this guy's name talked about nearly enough. And for the sake of me, I can't think of why. Because when you look at Christian Mahogany, he's got a ton of potential. And I think whoever drafts him could maybe get a hidden gem in the 2024 NFL draft. What are your thoughts?
Mr. Mahogany. He's from Elmwood, New Jersey. Same hometown as Dick Vitale. And we know about Dick Vitale, the greatest guy that's ever been an announcer when you're talking about college basketball at this time. It's funny that March Madness. Now I'm going to tell my audience a little story. Our producer who just got through speaking, the very talented Logan Landers, right?
Yes, sir.
Logan is a very avid Las Vegas Raiders fan. Mr. Mahogany will be an excellent Raiders ball player based on the past, based on the team history. Because one thing about this young man here that I love about it is that he has a bullet mentality. Then he's violent, and he gives out crushing blows, and he plays through the whistle. A lot of people say that might be dirty, that might be nasty, but it's got a little bit I want to say. Remember this lineman back in the day, Logan? You might have not been born at the time, but I know you read about Conrad Dobler, who passed, I think, about a year ago. He was nasty. Think about this other lineman that played with the Dallas Cowboys, Kevin Grogan. He was nasty. Then when you look at all the former Boston College linemen that's made it in the National Football League, from Bob Hyland to Dan Copen, from Tom Nalen, to Chris Snead, to Ron Stone, to Damian Woody, who's right now an ESPN personality, and Chris Listrom, who starred locally here for our Atlanta Falcons, as we broadcast live from the Atlanta Falcons, Metro Atlanta Falcons area. All these guys that played offensive line for Boston College, they had this mentality of being nasty, being gritty, as you just said, getting the job done, not wanting to be your friend across the line of scrimmage, not talking to you. This gentleman right here is probably the best run blocker in this 2024 NFL draft. And you brought up a good point today, Logan. Why is a lot of people not talking about him as being one of the top linemen going early in the draft? Then I think about this. He played on a Boston College offense that finished 14th in the country in rushing, averaging 198 yards a game. I don't have to say no more. He's the most underrated offensive lineman in the draft. He played 862 snaps this year guard. He allowed no sacks, only 2 quarterback hits, and only 7 quarterback hurries. Christian Mahogany, I wouldn't be surprised to be one of them guys that's drafted in the 3rd or 4th round and then become, I want to say, an 8 to 9 year Pro Bowl player. Back to you, Mr. Landers.
Yes, sir, Mr. Turner. My final thoughts on Christian Mahogany, offensive lineman coming out of Boston College. I think we've summed it up well. This is a guy who is going to fall in draft boards for whatever reason it befuddles us all. If I had to guess, it's probably due to his ACL injury back in 22. But he proved this year, Vincent, that he's healthy and that he's better than ever. So if I was a draft scout, which I'm not saying I'm not, but if I was, I would say, all right, he missed 22. He came back strong in 23, and he showed why he is one of the potential top-tier prospects in this upcoming 24 draft and why he would be a key piece, a mainstay on that offensive line, like you mentioned, for 8 to 10 years, pick up a couple of Pro Bowls here and there potentially. I think Christian Mahogany, man, if your team needs an offensive lineman, look for this guy right here, and I think he'll do some great work for you. Your final thoughts, Mr. Turner?
Hey, man, we're looking at a young man that's played at a real good institution, has had a history of putting out good offensive linemen in the National Football League. Like you said, it really amazes me, and it befuddles me that we're not talking about Christian Mahogany as being one of the top linemen in 2024 NFL draft as a first rounder or a second rounder. The gentleman, like I said, he came back. He played 862 snaps this year, allowed no sacks, 2 quarterback hits, 7 quarterback hurries. And he played on a team, an offense that finished 14th in the country rushing the football at 198 yards a game. I don't have to say no more. The young man, to me, once he gets drafted, the team that drafts him is going to be very lucky, and he's going to be an 8 to 9 year Pro Bowl player.
Yes, sir. Well said, Mr. Football. And guys, as always, if you want to hear any of our other commentary about any of the other guys drafted in this year's draft, previous year's draft, see if we got it right, Please go over to our Facebook and YouTube channels. We got 1,000+ episodes over there talking about draft prospects, also great interviews, and just a bunch of other tremendous football talk of myself, Vincent, and the rest of the crew here at 100 Yards of Football. But guys, enjoy your weekend. Go do some draft study, and we'll talk to you guys again on another